Say, for instance, I no longer had a boyfriend.
One of my favorite things about movies is the way that it fills up people who like different things. Action guys have movies for themselves. Sci-fi people have movies for themselves. Lovebirds have movies for themselves. And today we're talking about a rom-com. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm your host Patrick, and today we are discussing Smart Casual. Your happy-go-lucky, lovely, deep-rooted, interesting, romantic comedy story based in South Africa. Without any further ado, let's review this movie.
What do you do?
I freelance.
So, the thing with cinematography when it comes to romantic comedy is that they don't need too much. Like, you're going to have to do something spectacularly bad to mess up the cinematography in your romantic comedy. I'm not necessarily saying it's just easy peasy. I'm just saying it doesn't really require the amount of effort that you would go into with maybe a thriller or an action movie or a sci-fi, for example. So for a rom-com, this really hit the notes. I love what they did with the scores. I love the way they were able to bring some of that South African Zulu energy into the scores and the music that you hear in this movie. It was really cool. Also, the urban setting, it just has a way of making you want to visit where they shot this movie. Like, it was really urban, really cool, really like hip, just hip and happy, basically. Just very, almost, I wouldn't say Gen Z, but there's a flavor to this movie. The picture work really just reels you into just a nice, modern, sexy flavor, which I loved and I think was very necessary for a rom-com. You do stuff like this when you make a rom-com. So yeah, cinematography, perfect for the purpose.
If you want to hook up again, you can give me a call.
This guy over here is my fiancé. We're really excited that we finally get to have our dream day.
So again, as it is with most romantic comedies, of course, well, in this one, I should say, we do have quite a number of characters, which is something that's a bit new for me seeing movies like this, because when I see movies like this, most of the time, it's usually centered on maybe 2, 3, 4 characters max, but we have a lot more characters to go with here. Makubo, our lead, or one of our leads in this one, I think he carried the roles particularly well. He did play off really well. I do have question marks, for example, but this is more of a subjective thing. I feel like if you're casting someone as a lead in a romantic comedy, playing the role that he was playing, I don't know. I feel like you want a man that is particularly, again, don't come for me, but I just mean particularly attractive. Now, this man, of course, like, people are beautiful. He's a very good looking man. I just feel if I was a casting director, I would have gone for someone more stunning. But that's just my opinion. It was really good. And then as an actor, he performed the role really well. As for scenes, ladies and gentlemen, why do you guys watch romantic comedies? Well, you watch rom-coms for the love angles. And the love angles in this movie, they were particularly spicy. You watch this movie for the spicy moments. It had spicy moments. I won't get into too much detail, but there were real hot, spicy moments in this movie. And I think the rom-com fans will love that.
So, how do I get the photos?
Well, you could give me your number. I'll send them to you.
What are your plans?
I have but one plan.
So, pros, I think the cinematography was top-notch. I think the acting performances were really good and decent. I loved the urbanness to this movie. I particularly loved that. Just the urbanness, the newness, the civilization sort of that comes with this movie. I really liked it. For the cons though, you guys will know on movie review, I'm not much of a rom-com person. Like, romance is not my thing. I'm not going to sit in front of a television and spend hours of my time watching a romantic story. It's not particularly my thing, but I'm sure there's people who have a taste for that. But even for a rom-com, I think that this story could have been told better. Here's the thing with rom-coms. Let me just get this off my chest. Here's the thing with rom-coms. You're telling a story about people and love. People who love each other. It's played out. We've been hearing stuff about stories like this since Romeo and Juliet from when I was in secondary school. right? So if you're telling me a story about people who fall in love, you've got to make it very, very dynamic, because if you don't, I've probably heard something like that before. And unfortunately, this story kind of falls into the category of something I feel like I've heard before. So that was my major con. If you're writing a romantic comedy, please make it unique. That was a big flaw for me.
Mrs. Nkosi.
No. Choma, we live in a city of gold, not a city of golden men.
What's worse than leaving?
I think it's a pass. I'm sorry. Don't be angry. It's just the truth. I think it's a pass. That's just the honest truth about this movie for me. I think that if you're into romantic comedies, if you really, really like romantic comedies, you will passively enjoy this movie, sort of. There are better romantic comedies out there. That's just a fair assessment. There are better romantic comedies out there that you will love. But if you're asking me if this movie is either a must-watch or a pass, I got to say pass. I'm sorry.
I'm just blocked.
Why would you do something like this to me?
I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be a boyfriend. That's not who I am.
Then who are you?
I'm the guy you go home with.